So now let's look at some of our default settings in the file. I'm just going to maximize this one. And under the Tools menu, we have Options, and we have our various settings available to us. I'm going to start out with the default paths. We'd use this screen to specify the default directories for opening and copying in our working paper files. Now this is computer specific. So as these items are changed, it will only affect the computer that they were changed on. There is a registry setting that can be pushed out to your staff's computers so that everybody has the exact same paths, or you can simply take a screenshot and ask your staff member to update their paths to match the paths that you would like to see. The Browse button here works so that you can browse out to the directories that you want to use for your default paths. Now I've got mine all set to the C drive, but some of yours may be set to a network drive instead. We use the roles to set default roles for the roles performed by users assigned to a client file. Now role sets can be created, and the number of roles can be specified at the document level to support various kinds of functional teams within an engagement. These role sets affect the interface, reports, and role requirements, as well as case view documents, comm functions, interpreter functions, and document filters. A role set is a set of custom roles that can be used for sign-off throughout an engagement file or on a per-document basis. Role sets can have custom role names and colors and can include up to 8 roles each. And right now my default role set is set to 2, and we have some other options available to them as well, including role requirements, labels, and changing the color. Next, I want to talk a little bit more about groupings. Working Papers allows you to set up to 10 groupings for accounts that allow for maximum flexibility in creating lead sheets and grouping schedules. For presentation purposes, you can determine the name of each grouping, and changing the grouping name updates all automatic documents and all program areas involving groupings for the current file only. So when this file is used as a template, that information will be copied into new files. Also, Working Papers defaults the description of Group 1, for example, to Lead Sheet. In this way, the name Lead Sheet is just another description for grouping, in this case, Grouping 1. Beside that, we also have a mask. Each group number can be up to 40 characters, and we can use decimals and dashes to create a hierarchical structure, allowing us to roll up using wildcards. If you're not using a mask in your grouping area, then wildcards will not be functional when you're using those in calculations. And as you can see, I haven't set up a mask for groupings 2 through 10 here, but we do have a default mask for our Lead Sheet Group 1 grouping. Next, I want to select my Mapping General options here. We use mapping options to set preferences for mapping accounts in Working Papers. Again, for presentation purposes, you can modify the mapping name. Working Papers defaults the mapping name to map number for presentation on Lead Sheet and trial balance reports, and this can be changed as necessary. The name you enter here updates all program areas using the mapping name for the current file only. By default, map numbers are left justified. If you want to change the appearance of map numbers to a right alignment or an alternate layout, we'd enter a new structure in the mapping mask box. So here I'm going to mask it to match the map number layout in my sample file. Next, we also have document considerations, and we'd use this screen to set our default preferences for printouts of all automatic documents created by Working Papers. So this does only affect automatic documents. For those of you who don't like to see zero balances on your automatic documents, we can uncheck the checkboxes in the first 3 checkboxes, and the zero balances will go away. If you want to see those sign-off boxes on your automatic documents, regardless as to whether or not anyone signed off on the document, you can check the role heading regardless of sign-off, and the sign-off boxes will always appear. And other options are available here too for your consideration when you're setting up your template. Moving down, I want to go to Lists, and under List, we use this screen to set and edit our preferences for entry journals. We've got the default journals selected here, but we can create new journals or we can edit existing journals through the Lists area. We can also set up tax codes. Now these tax codes are sales tax codes, and they tie into the journals like the sales journal. So again, we set up the tax code, and we go back to the journals and edit it so that we could specify the tax code that we've just created. There are also units for performance measures and custom balance options in the event that you needed more balances than what Caseware Working Papers already currently provides. Now, there are language settings here as well, where you could input different languages for the descriptions of map numbers, leaches through group 10, documents, and account information. Mine is just on the main language, which in my case is English today. I'm going to move all the way down to advanced here, and we would use this screen to set preferences for advanced features of working papers. Working trial balance items, journals, automatic repost capabilities, split up accounts, the display of account mapping and grouping names, synchronization information in the sync version, again default document synchronization behavior, mine set to automatic by default, networking information, issues, consolidation, and case view. All of which you would want to consider as part of your template so that your staff are already getting these settings when they create the new file. Other items can be set up in the file to assist users at the template level as well. So I'm going to just cancel out of here. None of the changes that I just made will take effect. And I'll take us back to the document manager in my file. Now, some of the items that can be used to assist us are filters. Under the View menu, we have the option Filter By. Now, we use this command to limit the documents displayed on the document manager to those that meet the criteria selected. Now, you can select the default criteria that are available in that list. This command also allows you to filter other areas of the software, such as filtering unbalanced accounts in the Account tab or the Cash Flow tab of the Working Trial Balance. This feature provides the ability to see the status of the engagement. For example, to see how much of the assignment is complete, select Filter By Fully Completed Documents. And that will then give us only the documents that are fully completed. Now, none of these documents have been fully signed off, so they disappear. It's worth noting that I have a filter bar at the top of my document manager that I can go to directly and change that back. But if you've turned that off in the past, you can always get back to it through the View menu, Filter Header to turn it on or off, and Filter By to get to your filters. Working Papers also allows you to create your own customized filters as well. And that's to go to View, Filter By, and Filter Manager. Using this feature, especially in conjunction with document tags, allows you to create customized views of the document manager for various members of the engagement team. So I could click New, create a new filter, and edit to specify the simple filter properties that I would like applied when this filter is selected. Now, I don't have any tags in this file at the moment, but if I did, I could then check a tag, and that would make it very easy for me to filter documents based on tags that have been applied. Filters can be created to show only documents which have outstanding issues, or have not yet been signed off, or of a particular type, like all case view documents. And there's no limit to the number of filters which can be created and shared with the staff using the file. Users are permitted to design and customize their own filters for the document manager. Once created, the new document manager filters will appear in the View Filter By list. I'm just going to cancel these out, and it would show right here. Now, we can arrange these in the order that we want to see them as well, and that's all done through the Filter Manager. Another area that can be predefined before the files are created is the Issues area. So turning on the Issues, I'm also going to right-click in the Issues area and go to the Issue Settings. We can use this area to customize both views and types. Now, the views are the tabs that you see in the Issues panel down in the split screen at the bottom of my screen. So if you wanted different columns or another tab here, you can simply right-click and select Settings, Customize Views, to either edit an existing view, copy an existing view and edit the copy, or create a new view, providing a name and identifier, and filtering based on the information that we want to see within that view, grouping, sorting, and specifying the columns that we want to see. I'm going to cancel that without creating a new view, but that is available so that you can create any views that you want to filter the issues however you need to see them in your files. Once again, I'm going to right-click and select Settings, and the next area is Customize Types. We'd use this command to customize and add issue types or categories in the file. Now, these are the default types that we have available to us. And you may want to add other types. For those of you who are not using our international audit template or our ASPE audit template, we have risk tracking, control tracking built into those. But some people who aren't using that like to create an issue type called risks or controls or management letter points, and that's as easy as clicking the add button and typing in the ID and the issue type. We can even go so far as to choose the layout of the issue dialog. Maybe I just want a description field in my issue type, and then click OK, so that now when anyone creates a risk, there's simply a description. Or maybe I do want to change the layout so that there's a resolution, and I throw the mitigating controls in here or reference them back to other issues that might be called control issues. And now I have a risk issue type, and I can go into my views and create views that will focus on just the risk issue type. Now, there are all kinds of different documents to consider when you're creating your template. We have virtually unlimited number of automatic documents with our 38 document types and different formats for each document type selected. So you'll also want to consider the document that you want to include that are already predefined in working papers or automatic documents. Get those all in there laid out, have them referring to the properties that are in the mapping database so that when you assign your client's accounts to the mapping database, they're automatically pushed out to the various documents in the document manager accordingly. That's all part of using a template. Now, one other thing that we may want to consider in our template is security. And Caseware does have protection available under the Tools menu, Protection, and we have Term Protection on. Now, I'm going to do this as a supervisor here, so I'll just log in and click OK. Are you sure? I say yes. And now security is turned on in this template. And that means that anyone who's going to create a new file from the template will have to log in with their user credentials to ensure that they have the rights to create a new file from this template. Now, if you wish to use protection feature in your template, we do need to turn it on, but this also presupposes that you have set up shared data store and created global users and global groups in your file. Now, if I go back to Tools, Protection, and look at Protection Setup in the engagement, we'll see that I do have global groups and global users, and I have previously set up a data store. And it's pulling in my global groups and users, and then I can add at the engagement level other users that are not currently assigned to my groups, and I can also add other groups at the engagement level which will not affect my global groups and global users. I'm going to cancel that. Now that this template has been created, I'm using air quotes here for the word created, what I'd like to do is create a new file from my template, and I would just go File, New, create a new file, and my new Caseware Zone file, and I'm going to use my Caseware Zone Audit template. When I click OK, it's going to reach out to that particular template and create the new file for me. And I do have to log in, and again, I'll just log in as a supervisor here to keep it simple. Now, it opens up, and I would fill in the information related to my client at this point, but I want to just do two more things. So I've opened up a document here, and this document has changes, and I'm going to close and save the document. And that document I'm going to close and save as well. Now, I'm going to get right out of working papers for a moment, because there's one other feature with the templates that's worth noting. Just opening up working papers, and I'm going to go into templates and my Caseware Zone Audit template to edit it one more time. Within template documents, we have an extra tab available to us. And that tab is the template tab. We have a document identifier and a document version. Now I'm going to change the version of this document to 1. I'm not going to worry about the identifier. I'll just click OK. And then I'm going to close the template, and I'm going to reopen the file that I created from that template. And that was the computer, my new Caseware Zone file, and I'll open that up. Tough to log in because security was turned on. And notice that there was an update from the template. That's because within the template, I may have changed that document out, and I've updated the version number of the document so that any file that was created from that template will be notified when the document is changed. Now, if I'm at the beginning of my engagement, I may want to update that document. If I'm at the end of my engagement, I may want to ignore it. So I'm going to click here to update, and it shows me which one that's going to be updated. I'm going to say, yes, I want to update these, and I'll click Next. And if I don't want to update a particular document, I can change it to no, but I'm going to update this one and finish. Now, remember, from the template it was blank, so when I increase the number, it's still a blank number. I made the change in this file originally, so now when I open up this document, it's going to be a blank document once again because it's refreshed from my template. So those are all things to consider when we're working in templates.